No biting. No eye gouging. And no hair pulling.
It's the story of an ex-world heavyweight champion.
You know, here's a guy who's had millions.
He's thrown into jail here.
He's kind of stripped of everything. Stripped of his title, stripped of his dignity, humanity.
Gift from Boyka. War and peace.
The best fighters from each prison are pitted against each other in these no-holds-barred, illegal, sort of cage fights. My character, Boyka, is the top guy in the prison. It's come to a situation where no one will bet against Boyka. So they concoct a plan and frame George, the Iceman Chambers.
And he has to build himself up to really regain his freedom.
The first movie was a boxing movie. I wanted to make this movie more as a mixed martial arts movie, to combine boxing with Muay Thai, with grappling, because I think it makes it more interesting. I think that martial arts look, to me at least, more interesting than just boxing, visually.
Perfect! Perfect!
My name is Isaac Florentine, and I'm the director of the film.
I've known Isaac for, well, several years, and we always wanted to work together, and we finally got the chance to work together on this movie. I've always been a big fan of his directing style, and so when we found a piece that we could work together, we were looking forward to do that.
Why are we doing this show together? 2 reasons. Reason number one, the reaction to this, to Elaine, to smoke. Number two is, Ross, we want to see him falling.
Isaac's a real dear friend. He's done a lot for me, he's like an uncle. And I'm really happy to be doing my second film with him, and I hope it's not the last.
I always say the whole production always reflects what the leader is. Well, if the leader is very enthusiastic and energetic, then everybody is. And so Isaac's energy has fueled this project like nobody else could have. So, I mean, he was the perfect person for this.
He's a very, very nice man, but he's a little like a stubborn terrier. To get what he wants, you know, he worries away at the bone until he gets what he wants.
Yeah, but then with the kicks, it's kind of... Pull back a little bit more. The first kick was very fast.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed working with him. And my great surprise, of course, was our dear director when I saw him in the ring and he executed this high kick to someone's throat. Stopped 1 centimeter short of... And it was over in half a second. The foot was there and then it was down again. And I was shocked and thrilled in a way because I've talked to Isaac. He's done martial arts, karate specifically, for 30 years. And it's one of his passions. And that plus movie making makes him incredibly well qualified to direct the film.
My name is Michael Jai White. I'm the lead actor in Undisputed II. I've kind of based Iceman, George, on a number of different characters. I know several boxers, and I've trained with a lot of professional boxers. And of course, a lot of it is myself, but mainly I use the background and the biography of a few fighters that I've known to kind of make a concrete vision of who George is.
Well, to prepare for the role, I needed to put on a lot of muscle. Especially when I found out that Mike was the lead, because he's such a big guy. I don't know, I guess I'm a normal sized guy normally. So I did train a lot, put on a lot of muscle, and worked on the Russian accent, of course.
You were a great champion, I know, long time ago. But in here, I am the champion.
It's much harder to do what I have to do in the fight scenes because I spend a lot of the time jumping up in the air, spinning around, you know, kicking, all these gymnastic type of moves. And when you're carrying a lot of extra weight, everything's much more difficult.
One thing that's interesting is Scott and myself, we're playing adversaries and we're always tearing at each other and we're always like, you know, bitter enemies. But the funny thing is that Scott is one of the nicest people you ever want to meet, and he's just got this English accent and he's so proper. And so many times when we are doing scenes where we're trying to rip each other apart, before action, we're talking about like salads at Jasmine and stuff, and you know, and then they yell, action, I'll kill you, cut. So anyway, the salads are really good, you know, so we just go right back into things, but it's just acting. That's I think people would find that interesting. We're not method actors that have to stay that way to make that come across.
To get two guys like this on the screen doing a fight scene together is like Benny Urquidez and Jackie Chan, or of that level. They're amazing. Scott has done a lot of films in Hong Kong, and he's probably been doing martial arts for 20 years. And Mike is another. He's a master of his martial arts. He's a master of Japanese style karate and also kung fu. And, you know, with Isaac directing and Isaac, you know, calling the shots, and we're gonna have a great fight scene here. A couple great fight sequences in this film. Some of the best that I've done.
Let him go earlier off that throw, okay? Turn loose on him earlier.
Roll camera.
Turn loose at Troy earlier when you're throwing him. Let him go earlier. Don't ride him to the ground.
Hey, action!
Is everybody okay? Scott okay? Scotty okay? Scott, you okay?
My name is JJ Perry, and I'm the fight choreographer on Undisputed II. Yay!
I know JJ for many, many years. This is our first big project, and I think he did a great job.
Yeah, I was arrested in LA, and they said it would be good anger management for me to come and do this. Just kidding.
Let's start again.
Yeah, JJ's a real nice guy, really happy to have met him, get along brilliantly. I really think that this film will have some incredible fight scenes because he's come up with such amazing choreography, and we really got a lot of time to rehearse and work on the ideas for the fights.
Do it slowly. Now he kicks my curve.
Ready?
Walking slowly first with the leg.
This is the scene where Boyka is choking George in the second round of their final fight. So we're creating some drama now, getting a clean two-shot, the struggle between the two adversaries. And at this point, George will drive Boyka back into the corner. Then George will throw Boyka. And in the landing, Boyka will kick George in the face.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a catch-as-catch-can sequence. This whole sequence is choreographed that way, as per Isaac and the actors.
No stuntmen were hurt in this movie, because there are none. No, yeah, we do our own stunts, me and Mike. What you see is what you get.
I rarely use a stunt double, but I always hire one just in case. A stunt person only is there for me if I have to fall off of a table or something like that. I think in this movie, falling from the ring is one of the only things that my stuntman had to do. And one other time he had to fall into a table. There were situations where they didn't want to risk me hurting myself, even though the biggest risk and the injuries that stuntmen have more than any other injuries is when they're doing fights.
So when we're fighting each other, everything's for real, no wires. No CGI. No stuntmen.
Action! 1, 2, 3! Breathe! It was too slow. Okay, one more time. You almost have one table.
One more time.
We have one more table?
Reset! Cut it! Cut it! Good, okay?
My name is Ben Cross, and I play the part of Stevie, who is he's an Englishman, and without the film getting into why, he ends up in a very, very harsh Russian jail. And during his time there, he becomes a heroin addict, and although he's basically a decent person, of course, if you have a real heroin habit, then you have absolutely no morality. And you can be incredibly sincere about your intentions, but the nature of the drug and the hunger for the drug makes it actually impossible to be a good human being. But he has a conscience to the extent that when he stiffs the character of George, played by Michael J. White, he goes back to his cell and hangs himself. So it's one of those really happy roles where I come whistling into work every day. But I enjoyed this movie because the character I got to play, it's not very often in an action movie you get a chance to play a real character. They're just not written. Why should they be, one might ask. But from my point of view, I was very, very happy with to play Stevie. Very happy indeed.
Action!
You know, George, I saw first fight. I saw something in first round, something in your eyes, before you started to look drunk.
I think my favorite scenes are almost every scene with Ellie Donker. I really enjoy working with him. He has his eyes are amazing. He has these soulful eyes, and he's just a really good actor.
Hi. This melody I play for my niece. I've been in jail for 20 years. This is the outward. This is freedom. This is love. This is yearning. This is whatever I don't have in jail. The name of my character is Krot. Krot is someone who lives in the gutters. It's like a cockroach. Like in Russian they say krasavica also.
He's got this genuine quality with him in it. He always gives me things that makes me respond a way that I did not expect. So I mean, I really enjoy working with him. So I think our favorite scene so far is probably when I go to his room and he tells me about his story, why he got arrested.
Hey man, sorry. No, it's okay. Playing the soul of the movie it's very difficult. It's a title. I don't have the book with me, but I read it in my mind. And Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky, which is a good book for me to educate myself through this journey that I have. It's not an easy task to achieve, but who wants easy?
Hey! Action!
Right now, it's one of the more difficult scenes because visually, it's just really nasty. It's a scene where I have to fight some guys, and eventually I throw one guy into a bunch of sewage. it's just kind of hard to watch. Even though I know it's not real, your eyes still remember, and then your brain doesn't really get it yet. But I think my last scene in that room is today, so I'll be happy.
The key to this movie, because it's not a big budget movie, was the set, the location and the set. And I was very, very lucky to have Valia, the production designer. Now I met Valia again 7 years ago. Her sets are fantastic. Because the idea was to do a jail movie, but not to make a claustrophobic movie. The problem with a jail movie, especially when it's not a big budget, is that you can turn up and see walls, 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 and then the movie become very claustrophobic. She built a set that you can see depth wherever you look, and it really, really helps the corner. It's so authentic and so fantastic that I really owe her that movie.
When I first arrived here, my first shot was in Wraca, in the prison over there. And I saw all the faces of the prisoners looking out when we were shooting outside. And when I first walked in and I saw the guards, and they made us turn around, not look when they were removing prisoners from one place to another. I was looking at them and I was trying to be nice to one of the guards, and I said hi, and he gave me a look, and I said to the director, I'm playing someone who was here for 20 years. I wouldn't last 3 minutes.
In Wraca, it was great on one hand because I really got the feeling of isolation up there, because I truly was isolated.
Ryan! Hey, action! Fuck out! Fuck! Yeah, what's up? Get out of here! I'm getting all your punks! Mark off, you motherfucker! Wait till I get out of here! Yeah, you punk! You! I'm gonna fuck!
So I kind of felt that desolation. It was very cold there, and everything was real. The snow on me, the freezing temperature. I really didn't have to act very much.
Action!
It's just that I realized that I had to act cold and not pain. I felt pain in that cold. It's weird, but it was an experience, and I'm glad we're done with that.
There's a saying that says, I heard it from a good friend of mine, it's a war to get a movie, and it's a war to do a movie, so you go to war with your friends. Because we had here a very short pre-production, my decision is to go really with friends. Most of the cast here is either friends or people that I worked with them before. And most of the crew I met 7 years ago on my first movie in Bulgaria. This is my third movie. So most of the crew I know, they know me, so I know where to push, where not to push, and they know themselves when to push me and when not to push me. So I think it's a good relation.
We got it, next!
Cut.
Yeah, it's actually the hardest film I've worked on. So I just had to get drunk every night to get through it.